Welcome back, folks. Lot Talk, episode 5. Hey, we're going to title this one Time to Feast, and I'm going to explain that to you here in a minute. But first off, I'm Chris Keene. I'm one of the co-hosts here on Lot Talk, and joining me today is my great friends and co-hosts, Mr. John Anderson and Mr. Ronaldo Leonard. John, I got to ask, did you have a warm glass of milk this morning? Do you got your Snuggie on? Do you got your heater going? Because we've got a jam-packed day today, and I'm not going to spill the beans yet, but we got one. Are you awake yet, John? Are you ready?
I've got my heater going underneath my desk, and I've had a couple cups of coffee. Just realized that I had a little senile moment this morning, and put on my backup jersey. So I appreciate you guys. You guys carrying the banner this morning with the WTF. So I've got the backup jersey on with the lot walk on it, but a little senile moment, but we get them every now and then when you get to be my age. So I appreciate you young men allowing me to trip over myself occasionally and prop me up. So yeah, I'm ready this morning, Chris. Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Ronaldo, hey, I really need you to maybe send a text message, send an email. Well, to really communicate with them well, send a carrier pigeon and remind John of which uniform that we're wearing each week. Please, carrier pigeon. Send the carrier pigeon. Smoke signal.
I got you. How about it? Just send a telegram on the Wells Fargo wagon, and it'll be all good. No, brother, it's all right. It's all good, my man. It's just good to have you here, But yeah, next week I'll make sure he's suited out and he's got his drip on.
Yeah, you got to get him suited and booted, man. You got to rock the WTF.
Well, I'm up here in Kansas City today, and when you come in from Texas to Kansas City this time of year, it's a little chilly up here. So I went with the long sleeve option this morning. So yeah,
you get to see exactly where that wind's blowing from, don't you?
Absolutely, brother.
For
absolutely.
Real. Oh yeah. You can see it. You looking up to Canada, going, "Wow, that really is coming down pretty fast." Yeah. So you know what? We should get because of that time of year, we should get some long sleeve, 3/4 zip.
WTF. I like it.
Yeah, we should do that, or maybe full zip up hoodies. So we should get some of those.
I like it.
You know what? Even better. How about this one? We'll get the long sleeves, and then for the first 5 listeners or viewers that say send me the WTF, we'll send them one.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Let's do that. Let's send out some WTFs. Now,
hold on a second.
Let's remind them what the WTF is for. Okay.
Yeah, but
Ronaldo,
do we want to do it that way? Do we want to do it that way, or they need to give a little bit of give them a little bit of a challenge? They need to give us insert a question or give us a question, and then we get
even better.
And then we get to pick. We get to pick, right? The best question. 5 best questions.
Absolutely. 5 best questions. 5 best questions. Viewers, send it in. You can look right below, comment below, send us your 5 best questions. Listeners, if you're listening, C Keene, K-E-E-N as in Nancy, E, at lotpop.com. Send me some questions. We'll pick the 5 best questions. You'll get the WTF long sleeve. I don't know if it's going to be a hoodie. I don't know if it's going to be a sweatshirt. It's going to be warmer than this T-shirt. I can promise you that. You know what? John is the wise one of the group, and he is the only one. I mean, you're in Denver, Colorado, Ronaldo. I'm here in Oklahoma. Now, y'all know why it's so cold in Oklahoma and so windy? Y'all want to know why?
Why?
Hey, dude, don't go there.
Because Kansas blows and Texas sucks. I mean, it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way.
I'm sorry, Ronaldo. I shouldn't have asked the question why.
Well,
you asked for it.
Hey, we'll put our listeners and viewers to work on this one.
Yeah. Hey, now wait, do we want to be specific on the type of question that we haven't submit? I mean, because
no, let's any question they want. Any
Yeah,
question.
you operate down there in Oklahoma, somebody might, ask a question like, gosh, I don't know. What's the largest tumbleweed to ever run across the interstate or something like that?
Well, that's why I'm here to answer those.
Yeah.
How do you get the red mud out of your wheels?
Right.
Oh, you don't.
Well,
you just live with that.
Everybody knows that one. Yeah. But and then I think we might need to qualify and differentiate our WTF from the Urban Dictionary definition of WTF.
Yeah. Won't you do that, Ronaldo? Won't you tell him? Because the Urban Dictionary can be a little sketchy.
No, come on. That's like a staple in our vocabulary, in our conversations on a daily basis. But just to let you guys in on what we do and what we stand for, WTF is work the facts. And so as we are helping our friends in the automotive industry improve the results that they're getting, the core fundamentals that we really focus on and we drive with dealer partners that we work with every day. First of all, stock what you sell what you stock. And then secondly, make sure that you sell the majority of your inventory in the first 30 days of inventory. But in order to be able to do those two things, you got to work the facts. How'd I do?
Work them.
Will that work?
Yeah. From Texas.
You want to elaborate a little bit?
How do you
find
the facts?
I don't want to elaborate.
How do you find the facts?
How do you find the facts?
How do you find the facts? If I need to work them, how do you find them? Interesting question. I win a WTF hoodie.
Oh.
You want a
hoodie?
Yeah.
I want the hoodie. Give me the hoodie.
You didn't email that in, so John.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Technicality.
Yep.
You lose it. Yeah. I can't wait to hear some of the get some of those questions in there. So, hey, listen, if your question is how do we work the facts, as John said, definitely send that question in because we'll be glad to share that with you.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And, we titled today's episode Time to Feast. Okay, we timed it Time to Feast. Now, before we really kind of unpack of what time to feast means in the automotive side or what this, today's episode is about, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I love Thanksgiving. I love to feast. And there is no shame at all. Zero. And wearing nothing but sweatpants for the next 6 weeks between now and the end of the year. Because I am going to feast. My wife makes a pumpkin roll and she takes and puts the powdered sugar on it. Like right as it comes out the oven and it starts melting on top of it. And then she'll take and put more powdered sugar on top of it. I mean, there is no doubt whatsoever. It is diabetes on a pan. Okay.
Dude, you have to get Miss Stephanie to ship some of that up to Long Tucky. It sounds good.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, it's like legit. It's this roll. And I can't even explain like the girth and the size of this damn thing. But when she first put that, it's amazing. She first put that powdered sugar on there and you just kind of watch it melt a little because it's, pretty hot coming out. And then she lets that thing cool. And then she takes and puts some more powdered sugar on. I'm telling you, man, I take one bite, I got diabetes. I got to start taking insulin shots, everything. It's awful. What's your favorite, John?
All. I like it all.
This ain't multiple choice where you hit, circle C.
I like it all, baby. Come on, look at me, man. Look at this big head, these big old jowls, right? You don't have to ask that question, man. I like it all. You put it down, I'm eating it. So
I mean, John, you said it, man. You start to get more chins than a Chinese phone book.
I got it, baby. Look, I don't know which is bigger, my chin or my forehead. I don't know which one, but that's. Yeah. So, hey, is you guys turkey or ham?
Oh, it's turkey.
Okay. Stuffing or mashed potatoes?
Stuffing.
Come on, stuffing.
Yeah, stuffing.
I just hear these questions, man, and I'm surprised at the amount of people that will say ham and mashed potatoes. So I'm just curious.
What is it for you? What is it? Turkey or stuffing for you?
I probably turkey best, or most, but we do them both.
Oh yeah, well, I still do them both.
Right. Yeah. And you know, and then it just depends on how.
Is Thanksgiving about the turkey or the ham though?
Well, Thanksgiving is about giving thanks.
Well, besides that, man, we're talking about the food.
You give thanks over a fish sandwich. Come on now.
That's good. That's good stuff, Ronaldo. That's good stuff, baby. I like it.
Just trying to keep it real. But
speaking of giving thanks, we got some big things coming up for what's going on today. So that's for sure. Excited about that, man. Definitely.
Yeah, we do got some good things coming, and I'm telling you, last episode we told everybody we got a special guest speaker today. We told everybody I didn't say if it was a he or a she, what part of our industry they're from, but this person is here to wrap it all up where we started at no more shooting fishing in the barrel. This person is here to wrap it up. And now I'm ready to unveil them. So, hailing from the great state of West Virginia, she is affectionately known and recognized across our industry as the CRM queen. We are so proud. We are so excited. We are so thrilled to have Stacey Ellison joining us today. Stacey, welcome to the call.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, hey, Stacey, over the last 4 episodes, now our overall series has been about no more shooting fish in the barrel. Now, where that come from is where we think about our industry over the last several years. We've been able to sit there in our industry and look at customers and go, hey, guess what, bud? I don't care if you buy it or not. I got 15 people standing over there waiting for you to say no. So it really wasn't selling. It was just more like an order taking type deal. We went even as far as our last episode where we were talking about, we look at some of the things we do inside of our dealership, some of the software tools we have, some of the processes, and we try to look at that almost like a crock pot theory where you could just kind of set it and forget it. We've talked about things of the most important person in the dealership is the great salespeople, but yet our dealer principals and our managers, we're really not doing that coaching and training with them as this industry has evolved. Mm-hmm. And with John Anderson, when he came in and said, hey, I got the best person to have this conversation, he threw your name out there. We're like, that's perfect. That is perfect. So I actually want to flip it to John. And John, when you sat there and said, I got the best person, why was Stacey the best person?
Stacey and I go back a few years. We were introduced by a friend of both of ours, Mark Tewart, and Mark used to have in Cincinnati, he used to have these conferences, and I was invited to go speak, and that's where I met Stacey, and Stacey was giving a presentation, and I was listening to her presentation on CRM and CRM processes. And then Mark was kind of grilling her on different CRMs, and people in the room were asking questions of Stacey about, Vend Solutions and Dealer Socket, and throwing these questions out of these CRMs. And there wasn't one question. There wasn't one question that somebody served up that Stacey didn't have an answer for right then. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this has to be, I've never heard anybody that could answer or talk about processes within multiple CRMs. As a matter of fact, I don't know that I've found a CRM or ever heard of her speak of a CRM that she wasn't familiar with. And then obviously we introduced Stacey to a couple of our dealer partners and working with their internal processes. And just the background of information, just the wealth of information and the process knowledge she has, that, when we started talking about what we were referring to this month, and a lot of it, that engagement with customers, the quality of conversations, processes. I mean, that was the only name that came to my mind from bringing somebody on to speak about this or speak to it. So 100% blew my mind at those conferences with the wealth of knowledge she had. So there wouldn't have been anybody else I would have thought of, honestly.
Thank you.
Well, I know we're super excited for it, and in the spirit of this week's episode, wrapping up No More Shooting Fish in the Barrel, time to feast. Well, we've spent a lot of time, helping giving our automotive community back some things that it's really going to help them make that transition and make that paradigm shift. Stacy, we've had a lot of various questions, that have come into us or that we've experienced in the hundreds and thousands of calls that we do each and every single week. I know Ronaldo, as our director of training and performance engineering, he gets a lot of those questions from our performance engineers, from our dealer partners. So Ronaldo, why don't you kick us off here? Let's put Stacy on the hot seat. Let's see if we can throw her a curveball, because, John said there wasn't a question she couldn't answer, but let's see if we can find a question she can't answer for us. Ronaldo, kick us off here.
All right. Before we turn up the temperature on the hot seat, Stacy, you and I don't go way back like Cadillac seats. And you and John, have had some history there. Take a moment, just kind of, how would you introduce yourself to our listeners and to anybody new to the industry or anyone in the industry that you are just meeting? How would you describe yourself and what you do to kind of set the stage before we move forward?
My career began in a BDC. So BDCs, internet sales, CRMs, that's what I enjoy the most. That's what I do. That's my lane. I took a job. This will tell you how old I am. I took a job as a BDC agent when minimum wage was $3.75 an hour. We did not have a CRM.
I got that beat, Stacy.
So we didn't have a CRM. We were put in a room with one of those white folding tables, some telephones, a 5-subject notebook. The manager would run up and down the steps all day and hand us these papers where the leads would come to his email. And he would give them to us and say, call this customer and get him in the door.
Right.
How? Just get him in the door. Guys, we called the leads one time and crumbled them up. Nobody told us what to do. And we hung out and we played cards and we applied for other jobs on company time. And, it was horrible. And then 4 months later, he came in and he said, I'm going to bring a trainer. And we had a trainer come in and we got the CRM and we knew what to say, when to do it, how to do it, why to do it. And within 6 months, we figured out that I was really good at getting people to do what I wanted over the phone. So they promoted me to the manager. So, John talks about my CRM knowledge. It comes from a time that I didn't have one. And I almost left this industry 4 months in. And when I got it, I was so grateful. It told me what to do, when to do it, why to do it, what to say. And it was the easiest thing in the world. And that CRM is what jump-started my career. It's what made my career. So that's where I get really, really passionate about it, because I didn't want to go drive 30 minutes to work and sit 8 hours a day and play cards with somebody, right? That's what we were doing.
You'd rather be out hunting deer, Stacy.
Or sleeping or something,
Anything but that, right?
It developed into, and I love the way my career developed. It developed into my communication with the customers. It wasn't until I was a BDC manager for 2.5 years that I learned to audit lead providers. It was, you're going to do this job so well, setting appointments, getting them in, learning how to lead people, then you can have access to the back end of Auto Trader. Right. Like, they really baby stepped my career. And in a time where, okay, I've been a manager 3 months. Why don't I have access to this? Why can't I do this? No. No. So the last job I had, I ran BDC departments for only 4 dealer groups in my career before I left to go train. And they were all here in West Virginia. They are actually still work with one of them to this day. I'm still in contact with all of the managers and the owner. They're amazing people. It's when people locally say, where do I buy a car? I have a hard time choosing which one of my former dealers am I going to send you to. They're amazing. Right. So, and then, the opportunity came along at my last dealership where Automotive Connections were saying, hey, call Stacy. She can help you with this. And then I said, why don't I just go out and do it? So this April will be 8 years. We've been trading BDCs and CRMs.
Great. Wow.
So,
okay. Well, yeah. Thank you for giving us that background. Yeah. So now we're going to turn up the heat.
Okay.
Probably the most interesting question that I get, and I get it often, is when should we, as soon as a lead comes in, how is it best to contact that lead, and how often should we follow up with that lead?
I'm going to give you an unpopular answer.
All right.
And the OEMs don't like my answer.
Yep.
My job is to build a relationship with you and get you to trust me and see value in what my dealership can bring. I'm not sending an email to stop a clock. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call you.
Amen. Preach.
Yep.
Preach, Stacy.
That's where we got lazy, right? That's where we got lazy. And, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to stop the clock. That's my mortgage. That's my money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if I'm afraid to pick up the phone first, if I don't want to pick up the phone first, why am I even there?
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I don't get a hold of you on the phone, my specific process is, then I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to send you the text opt-in. I'm going to wait 15 minutes and I'm going to turn around and call you back. Because if we're sitting here today, let's say we're out to lunch and I get a phone call and I don't know who this is. And then they call back 15 minutes later. Are you more likely to say, hey, John, excuse me 1 second. This number's called a couple of times.
Yep. Exactly. Wow. Exactly.
And in that email, in that voicemail, in that text message, it has got to be relevant communication with your customer. Hey, this is Stacy. Here's what kills me. I have here that you inquired about what does that even mean? What does that mean? It has to have content. It ends with a question. Hey, Ronaldo, I just tried to give you a call. Maybe text message is better. Do you prefer text? I don't care what the question is, but end it with a question to keep the conversation going. Even in our communication, we're order takers. Just, right. Hey, I sent you an email. If you have any questions, and listen, I love the oldie but goodie voicemail. If I don't hear back from you, this afternoon, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. That's great. But what am I going to say to you to get you to call me back? Because that customers now are submitting an average of 12 leads to 12 different dealers. You are not the only one they're swiping right on Tinder.
100%.
Sorry.
100%.
And I wish I could find a way to really drive home the fact that lead, I mean, you've got so much competition. The majority of people that are following up with leads have this idea that I might be the only game in town. And I'm the only one who's reaching out to this particular process or this prospect. But, on average, 12 leads across the board. And so what's the best way for someone to differentiate themselves from those other leads that have been sent out in the market? I get that they should follow up, kind of like voting.
Yes.
You want to do it early and often. Yeah.
Yes.
But what are some key words or phrases they could use in order to set themselves apart from those other 11 leads or other 12 folks that are going to be trying to reach out to that person?
So dealers have to have a strong value proposition package. You got, why am I going to come to you? You have a free shuttle service. That's great.
It's not going to make a difference.
So in the context, and a lot of these OEMs, because I just did one for CDJR, Ford, and Subaru, they now require you to have your why buy proposition package in there. So the expectation in a voicemail or a text message, let's go there since that's shorter communication.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where a lot of people get stumped. And in the voicemail or a text message, I tell them what to expect from me, not the dealership.
Yep.
From me. So, hey, Renato, this is Stacy calling from ABC Motors. And then you go into whatever you can deliver for that customer. Tell them what you're going to do. Hey, the Explorer is a fantastic choice. Compliment their choice. And then end it with a question. It's got to be short, simple, and sweet. But you got to give them something.
Right. Okay. So when you were managing the process in a store, how did you get your team or certain individuals up to the standard that you wanted them to perform at? Because I hear a lot of folks complain, saying that they can't get their folks to do the things that they would like them to do. But it's a little more complicated than, just throwing cards out there and say, get them in here.
My process is long. It is long. So I start at the very, very, very beginning because it is extremely hard once you have people in there to turn them around. So I start with my interview and phone screening process. You're taking a personality test.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. We hire people who can show up to work on time and we believe everything they say. And then we get in and it takes them 3 months to learn a script. Yeah. So I start at the very, very, very beginning. My employment ads that I give dealers or I used to run are 5 pages long because I'm going to let you know the job, who to answer to, your expectations, the hours, the dress code, everything. Then I phone screen them. If they have a good voice on the phone, then I schedule an email interview and where we email back and forth. And if you pass that, you can come in for an in-person interview. But let me tell you, your in-person interview with me is going to last at least an hour because you're going to sit in the department that I'm hiring you in and you're going to watch what they do. I can't explain the way a BDC operates over the phone. You're going to watch them call after call. I'm going to introduce you to the sales team. I'm going to introduce you to the managers. I'm going to show you where the restroom is. And then I'm going to give you your job duties and expectations in writing. And then I'm going to review you every 30 days. And I make decisions. This is, I think, where we get in trouble and people get confused. I make decisions based on facts and data and not my feelings.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hear this all the time, which I don't agree with. And I tell people respectfully, I'm going to disagree. Well, I don't want to let that person go. They're really nice. Are they? If they're showing up to your organization, ordering their breakfast, putting their makeup on company time, you've given them processes and they still haven't learned it in 3 months. Are they nice? Because your version and my version are clearly not the same.
Right. Yeah.
So I try to make sure I get what I want in the end with the employee. I put the work in the beginning.
Right. So you kind of hire slow.
I hire very slow.
Yeah. Okay.
And I work for them. That's what we as leaders sometimes forget. I'm not sitting in a BDC telling you what to do. I'm going to be a BD agent for a full week and you're going to come over here with me and I'm going to let you try it and I'm going to give you everything that I have in my arsenal, but I'm also going to hold you accountable and I expect you to be self-sufficient, right? I've got BD agents, guys, no lie, that I've given a script that if you wanted to learn it, you could learn it in a day and it's been 4 months and they're still not learning it.
Hey, Chris, what time is the choir going to start up? Because
tell you what, man, I'm ready to take my Bible out, brother. We're going.
She is squared up inside of the pulpit. I love it.
Hey, listen,
and guys, internally, you never, ever, 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 ever stop training, ever. I have I've got a girl right now that has become such a good friend of mine. I hired her 11 years ago. She's running a BDC for an 11 store group, and we did a group call. And one of the things she said was, Stacy used to make us role play every day, and we had a tea over calls, and I hate it. She said, now I love it. I see the value in it.
Yeah.
I can't get BDCs to role play every day for 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It's a chore.
Yeah.
I can't get them to live TO calls to the managers because you know why? Some of the managers don't know how to handle the phone call.
Well, ain't that the truth?
Stacy, why do you think? Why do you feel what's the number one reason you feel that that people shy away from role playing?
I feel, this is maybe unpopular, that we hire people to put a butt in a seat and we don't look for the specific characteristics in a candidate to do that job. Guys, this is a sales job. It's not customer service. Mm-hmm. When we phone screen applicants for dealers, if you have more than 2 years customer service on your resume, I'm trashing it. I can't unteach that.
Right.
This is a sales job. There are expectations.
Mm-hmm. BDC or salespeople? I always get asked that question. BDC or salespeople working? And here's the other thing. Here's the other question I have for you that always comes up. Right? It's not really a question. There's a knock against the BDC, and it is if my BDC rep is on the phone with a customer and they're asking technical questions about a vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. Typically that person, from the dealer's perspective, their feeling is that person hasn't come from the dealership sales side of things, so that will inhibit their ability to answer the questions. And so, speak to that a little bit if you would, Stacy.
I get that question a lot too, and I can't give an answer because I've been in dealerships where I want to tell them, tear the whole BDC down. Let's do internet salespeople. And one model that I found works really well, my most successful dealerships right now, honestly, are internet salespeople. And then we have a BDC person in there, right? So that BDC person will do your tasks when you're not customer facing. We'll do that. That's the model that I found is best.
Okay.
To be honest. On one hand, you have salespeople that can handle a lead flawlessly and get that customer in the door. On the other hand, they want to sell the car over the phone. On one hand, I have BDC people that'll overcome a product question. I want to get approved over the question, and they're amazing. And then I have other ones. Oh, you want a price? Hold on, let me send you to the sales floor. Yeah. But what I always go back to is I personally wouldn't in my business pay 2 people for the job of 1. Yep. So that's kind of where I want to stay, which is like that little hybrid model where I put a BDC person in with the internet salespeople. Works good. Mm-hmm. But if we're doing internet salespeople, when you hire salespeople on your sales floor, they need to know up front, you will be handling leads. You will follow our process. This is what you say when you do it, etc. That's the job. And I think that's what we forget as dealers and managers is we have an idea of what we want the job to be. Our people get in and don't do it for some reason and nothing happens.
Right. All right. My last question for me, at least until you trigger something else as you're preaching. Define a contact for me, Stacy.
A contact. What do you mean a contact?
So when we see a contact or we're asking for our BDC or our internet team or our salespeople to make a contact to a customer.
Ah, gotcha. Phone call.
Is that sending out? Is that making a phone call that we don't connect on and we leave a voicemail? Is that sending an email that we don't get a response back from a customer? And I truly want to know this because again, this is what comes up with me on some of these calls with our dealer partners, right? And so, is it sending a text message out? So I've made a phone, as you said earlier. I make the phone call. Mm-hmm. I send the email. I send the text message. Mm-hmm. Am I done?
No.
I made 3 contacts today, Stacy.
No. Unless you're selling 3 cars today. I mean, because, this is your money. this is your mortgage. Like I'm sitting at home thinking, how are you guys paying your bills and DoorDashing 8 times a day at the dealership? This doesn't make any sense. We have got to get creative. Again, we forget we are in sales. Why am I not getting a video email?
Thank you.
Oh.
Here we go.
Why am I not getting a video email? Oh, the weather's bad? I gotcha. Go to the key box. See these keys through the Ford Explorer? See the stock number? I'm going to shoot you a picture. Hey, John, I've got it right here. I got your keys right here. But, can you come in this afternoon? It's cold. It's 30 and snowing here in West Virginia today. I want to have this pulled up and ready for it. What are we doing to be creative? Nothing. It's not done. I get the question too. Well, John submitted a lead and he hasn't answered me in 2 weeks. I'm going to mark him lost.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Because I got to go in your CRM and look at a couple of things. This, because not one of my dealers are structured the same. I have 5 dealers in the same dealer group and their CRM is all different. And they're 2 miles from each other. Look at your average days to contact an internet lead. Look at your average days to sell an internet lead. And that will tell you what your customers are doing, where they are in the process, and what your follow-up should be. Mm-hmm. Look at the day and the specific times of the day that leads come in. I have a dealer, John, that gets 32% of his leads on a Tuesday between 2 and 7. Why am I not staffed up on a Thursday between 2 and 7? This data tells us how to do our job, but we look at it like it is a hindrance, like it is a chore. These customers are not walking in your showroom anymore. The days are gone. You're getting left behind.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
100%.
got to put in the work. And here's what I've seen. And sometimes it can be fixed and sometimes it can't. What I have seen is, again, we are putting people in here. This is not the right seat on the bus for them. They are not sales. They are timid. They don't want to pick up the phone. They don't want to send the email, or it's full of grammatical errors, or, hey, Ronaldo, are you still in the market? No, that was an automatic write-up in my BDC if you ask that question.
Right.
In writing, done.
Yeah.
So you have these dealers that are not willing to invest in their biggest expense and their biggest asset, which is their people. Like Chris and I were talking, John, listen to this. I invest in my dog.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'd like to think I'm a pretty good dog trainer. I've had Rottweilers my whole life. I can get these dogs they are smart. And I always get the male dogs. Why? I don't know. They're more stubborn than the women. I always end up with the male Rottweilers, right? He's 120 pounds, But here's the thing. I know the breed. I know what can happen. And Cash, for example, has been in training for over a year. John, it costs me $300 a month. I could train this dog myself. Cash will always be in training. He'll do, I'll tell him to wait right now outside the door for 4 hours and that dog won't move. But he will be in training every week because I see the value in it. So it's not a set it and done it kind of thing.
Man, that's a great point. That's a great point.
Absolutely. Who was it? I think it was
Chris. I'm sorry, Ronaldo. Chris, what did Tracy just say? Stacy, gosh, man, I'm having.
John, I've been called way worse this week.
I'm having peepaw moments this morning. What?
Well, you sure are.
Yeah, man, I am. Hey, what did Stacy just say? It's not a set it and forget it, right? We just had that conversation, right, last week. Set it and forget it.
Oh yeah. I mean, in States, we talked about that, and you and I had a conversation about it. That old crock pot theory. First off, I mean, I gotta say, Ronaldo's right. I mean, you're preaching your ass off this morning, and I'm all for it. I mean, listen, I think if this was actual paper and not my iPad with the iPencil thing, I bet you I got 3 pages of notes already, just because I really hope our viewers, our listeners, if you're viewing this right now, give Stacy major shout out, comment below, because she is dropping all kinds of nuggets. I mean, Ronaldo, John, you've heard me say before, I think people got to be on their toes around me. but I feel like a midget at a urinal. I mean, I am on my damn toes here going, shit, what do we do now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Brett. Sorry, Brett. Sorry, Brett.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me just add in this. Everything that we talked about is a simple, easy fix.
Mhm.
It's not complicated.
Absolutely.
If you have the right.
But why do they make it? That was my question. Because there's so much great stuff in here, and I'm looking at it and go, well, duh. I mean, why buy proposition for the dealership? Yeah, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not talking to the dealership right now. They're talking to the individual person. That was a great note I wrote down here, or a takeaway from you is, that individual has to be creative and give that expectation of what that potential new client should expect from them. Mm-hmm. Okay. That sounds so elementary. That sounds so simple. Yeah. But my question though, Stacy, is why is it so simple, but yet our dealer partners out there, or even not even the dealer partner, the frontline troops, why don't they do it?
I think it goes back to, and I'm going to use a term, might not be the right term to use, but we hired COVID kids. That's what I call them, the COVID kids, right? We hired the people during COVID that, I mean, my dog could have sold cars and made a killing during COVID. Like you said, it was and then either we didn't train them, we stopped training them. And now I think, this is what I think. I think we are internally frustrated with ourselves and we can't come to terms with what we've done over the past 4 years as managers or leaders in a dealership. And we think it's like that laundry, you put it in the spare bedroom on the bed. If you shut the door, you can't see it. It's still there. And in 2 weeks, you can't complain when you don't have any clean socks.
Right.
We have got to go back to, what some people refer to as old school. And we've got to put in the work. We've got to know these basics. We've got to. And you don't have to eat the whole elephant at a time, right? Well, when I look at a CRM or a process and someone wants my help, I start with the small things. Do you know what the easiest thing your dealers could do right now when they get a customer on the phone? Ask for the appointment correctly.
Give us an example, Stacy.
Hey, John, as of right now, I've got this Ford Explorer available. Are you more available to come in about an hour, or would this evening work better for you? Today. But here's what I'm hearing. Did you want to come look at it? Well, if you decide to come look at it, my name's Stacy. Make sure you ask for me. And then they set the appointment and we rushed them off the phone. They don't know where to go, who to ask for, and some of them just don't show up, so it's intimidating. Yep. So if you look at your metrics, do you have a low show ratio? Are you talking to too many customers, not setting enough appointments? If I send 50 customers in the showroom or only 10 buying, you start small and you fix that problem. And then you go here and here, and before you know, it's fixed. You don't have to fix the whole thing at once. And I think dealers think that they have to fix the whole thing at once and they just, no, I'm out. And that's not the case.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Oh, gosh. And, I guess I started back in training 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. And would always get the objection when I was talking to dealers about making that investment in training. Well, it's too expensive. I got to manage my expenses, and I don't know if the return on the investment is going to justify it. Mm-hmm. To which my answer was, if you think it's expensive to train your people, don't train them and see exactly how expensive that gets.
Yeah.
When they're not handling your prospects and your customers properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What would be, let me ask you this. And I'm a firm believer in role play. Mm-hmm. Back and forth, practice, drill, and rehearse is kind of how we used to tag it. But what would be the easiest and most effective way for a dealer to implement a role play program to get results out of training BDC or salespeople to handle those objectives and drill in the fundamentals that you've already mentioned that they, set that foundation for them so that they use it every time that they interact with a prospect or a customer?
Your magic answer to that is simply this. The managers have got to show up and know that they're watching, right? So if I'm a general manager at a dealership and my sales managers are responsible for maybe training the salespeople 15 minutes a day, I'm going to stand back like this. And I would like a text message or an email recap. And this is not micromanaging. You know, when in any kind of training program, I want as the top, I want a text message. I want an email. I want a short, brief recap. You know, hey, I did training today with John, Ronaldo, and Chris. They all did great. Chris really excels here. I think John could use a little bit here, so I'm going to spend some time with John in 10 minutes. These managers are putting these responsibilities on other people, as they should, but then nobody's doing it because nobody's watching.
Right.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah. My goodness.
And God, this is easy stuff. How many free resources do we have online now?
Oh my goodness.
I will take a call from a dealer right now. You want my whole process book? I will email it to you for free. That's what we do. We help people.
Yes.
Right.
But you
That's
know
what we're doing right now.
We're
doing it right now.
Yeah.
And they're
exactly
like, you know, this is good, Stacy, but this. And I'm like, but this requires you to put in the work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Stacey,
we
that's
have
the number
free resources.
that's
If
the
there's
number
a
one
dealer
thing.
that, you know, maybe training is I've never had a dealer that tells me training is too expensive. They can find something for their budget.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, when somebody tells me training is too expensive, I just shut it down and move on.
Right. Right. But I think you hit the nail on the head. The bottom line is the work. The work has always got to be done.
Yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of there are set it and forget it or turnkey solutions that are going to handle. Every dealer is different, but every dealer's unique setup and situation, you know, a cure-all or a panacea doesn't exist. There's got to be some work involved in it.
Yes.
So I'm glad.
Well, Stacy referred to it earlier, you know, and I've heard the same thing, you know, mainly a lot of dealer principals, you know, coming out of those COVID years, Stacy, that you referred to, and saying, hey, I got to get my people back to the basics, right? And I always say this, and I know Chris and Ronaldo are probably tired of hearing me say it, but, you know, a lot of our people in the industry, the good news is we've had a lot of fresh influx of younger folks coming into the business, right? It's popular again, right? But if a lot of those folks have come in since 2010, 2011, right, the industry's been on an uptick the entire time until really the beginning of this year. So when a dealer principal says, hey, I got to get my people back to the basics, my question is, do they know what the basics are?
No.
Right. And then in that process, we've taken those fresh salespeople that were really good, right? And we've promoted them to managers over this last 10 to 12, 13, 14 years. And now tell them, go back to the basics again, do that. They don't know what the basics are. Right. And so that's where this is, that's where all this is getting lost in the translation. And you know, you brought it up and then Ronaldo confirmed it, right? The people, the work ethic that it takes to drive success. It's not a magic bullet. It takes work. Yeah. So,
you know, it's like anything we want to do, like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You're not going to get healthy overnight. And I think in a world of technology and where we have instant things at our fingertips, and myself included, we get frustrated trying to be patient anymore. Yeah. And I find myself doing that, and you have to slow ourselves down, but we can never stop learning, and just hold people accountable in a positive, productive way. Do the monthly evaluations. But what we do is say, hey, Ronaldo, you got to next month, I need you to up your show ratio. We don't tell him how. We don't coach him on it. It's not in writing. He didn't get an opportunity to give us feedback. And I'm going to tell you, I got a pretty good employee evaluation form. You guys want it, I'll email it to you. You send it to all your dealers. But when you've just got to do those things. Like he said, if you think it's expensive now, wait till later.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. I'm blown away. I was so grateful to be here and have an opportunity to kind of have this conversation with you. But I don't think it would do you justice if we just cut it off here. So I'm going to ask you, Can we have you back?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
My gosh, yes.
Yeah. Because I know that we could all sit here and we could spend the next 4 or 5 hours just diving into this because it's so important for the dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also passionate about helping them with what they're dealing with. But yeah, I think we're probably going to have to wrap it up.
Okay.
This session. But then,
Stacey,
I hate
to have you back. Yeah,
I could go for another 3 hours, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm sitting in church right now.
For real,
West Virginia church.
Yeah,
from West Virginia. I thought
definitely.
that. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I was just going to compliment her on her East Texas accent.
I'll take it.
That's
I'll take it.
Yeah. You know how we Texas boys are. We like to claim the whole world.
It's okay. It's a compliment. I love Texas. It's fine.
All right, sister. Good deal.
Love it. Stacey, again, I can't echo it enough, but having you here today to help answer a lot of these questions that our dealer partners, our brothers and sisters in this industry, they are just craving this. And sometimes they don't know how to ask. And that's part of why we brought this together, this podcast together, is to be able to maybe be some thought provokers. If you would, and if you're okay with it, share with the listeners, share with the viewers here, share with them the best way that they can reach you.
Okay.
If they want to expand more and sharpen their skill sets up, Stace.
Okay. So the website's being built right now, so we don't have that up and yet, running yet. But my email address is sellison1150@gmail.com. They can call me on my cell. It's 304-578-4746. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook. We're happy to help. If they need some documents, some free resources, a script, and your partners reach out to you, I'll send it straight over to you guys, and you guys can send it to them, because this is about helping people.
Stacey, that is a breath of fresh air.
Whatever you need, employment ads, onboarding processes, we have it all. So if your listeners need anything, I'll get it straight through you guys, and you guys pass it on as you see fit.
That's perfect. Stacey, thank you again so much. I know Brett.
You.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been just absolutely a pleasure. Like John said, I mean, we could sit here for another 3-4 hours and have this conversation because there's just so much to unpack. But definitely, as Ronaldo alluded to, we want to bring you back in and really take maybe one or two of these great bullet points, these nuggets that you threw out, and maybe unpack that even more.
Absolutely.
But more importantly, the listeners that have been listening today, the viewers that have been watching today, you probably have had some thoughts provoked. And if there's anything that we could have Stacey back on to help answer some of those questions, or even maybe just directly get y'all connected, drop that in the comments below. Send us an email to ckeen@lotpop.com, and we'll definitely pass those on. I know Brett, our producer and COO, he's going to post your information up as well. Thank you so much for giving that. Your email address, your personal cell phone. Hey, John, Ronaldo, let's give it up for Stacey here. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. We look forward to having you back again soon. Definitely look forward to it.
Thank you, Stacey. You're the best. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Wow.
What? Guys, I am mind blown. I mean, I hated we had to let Stacey go, right? Bow. Everybody bow. Yes. We got to pay homage to Stacey. She brought the heat.
My goodness. Dropping bombs, man. Serious bombs. Wow.
It was unreal. Unreal. Ronaldo, what was your number one takeaway?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, once I got past the fact that she is a powerhouse with the enthusiasm and, I mean, the passion that she has for what she's doing just oozes out of her pores. But with the content, the biggest thing that really I think, or I hope that our listeners pick up on, is just the fact that how detailed and committed she is to the hiring process. because she knows where she's going to end up, but she's going to make sure that she does everything within her power to make sure that she makes the right selection of somebody that she brings into the organization, and then train and hold accountable after that fact. But
when she talked about the phone interview, and then the one I never thought of, the email interview.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like wanting to have, that was like a real deal. Like, hey, I'm gonna send emails back,
right,
and see how they respond, and we're gonna see what their communication skills are like via email.
Yep.
Because I mean, that's part of the job in the BDC is email, because sometimes we get those leads that are email only.
Right.
And she's interviewing there, and if they pass that, then it was bring them in,
right,
and interview them and spend no less than an hour, and going to interview them and in the environment or in the department that they're going to work in, is sit there and have them watch how they do it.
Yep.
And let them decide, hey, you want to do this because this is how we do things here.
Right.
That was unreal.
Oh, yeah.
That was. What about you, John?
So many.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's so many people today, and it was kind of like when I first started. You know, you had to have two skills. You had to be able to fog up a mirror, and
breathe.
And you had to show a pulse when they put the two fingers on your wrist. And we kind of, that's how I got in the door. But we've kind of returned to that. And I think that she brought up a great point that you really have to be selective and make sure that those skill sets meet what you need for that person to provide for you. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
John, what was your big takeaway?
Her West Virginia accent.
All you thought about was John Denver, didn't you?
I kid her all the time about that accent, man. She's all West Virginia. No, my big takeaway was the question I asked her about contact, right? Because I just feel like that there's so much of, we send an email, we send a text, or we make a phone call, we leave a message, and we feel like that's a contact, and it's just not a contact. And I don't know, Chris, I know Ronaldo, you're involved with dealers every day training. Chris, I know you're doing calls with our dealer partners as I do, and I know you guys have gotten into that conversation, and so have I. I look in there in their CRM, and I look in there that the lead in the notes that lead process completed, and I'm like, what does that mean? Right. And then we get into this conversation about, well, I contacted them several times, but they never responded. And I'm like, okay, define a contact for me. Well, I left them an email. I left them a text message. I left it right. And I'm like, hold on a second. You didn't contact the customer. And then we're putting them into lead process completed and calling them a bad lead after 14 days.
Yeah.
What? Right.
Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
What did we say? Well, how much do we say
program?
Right. What? No. Yeah. No. What did we say the average cost of a lead was now?
North of $200.
Yeah, we're putting them in a bad lead or lead process completed at day 14. Okay. So,
John, wait a minute, man. We should have asked her why we had her on the call still. Oh my God, I can't believe with us being at NADA again this year, NADA booth 1219. You know what we need to do? We need to see if Stacy would give us time at the booth to be able to have some of these conversations with our dealers that we're going to have on the hot seat with,
we need to put her in the hot seat.
Yep.
For real.
Just let people fire questions. Yeah. Let people fire questions at her, man. Put her in the hot seat. I'm sure she'd do that. I'm sure she.
Oh, John, you gotta check on that. So,
hey,
with that being said, I mean, listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. I hope you comment below and throw some more questions, because we're going to bring Stacy again, onto the show, and we want to be able to answer a lot of those questions. So, viewers, drop those questions, comment below. Listeners, hit me directly, ckeen@lotpop.com. That's C is in Charlie, K is in King, E is in Edward, E is in Edward, N is in Nancy, E is in Edward, at lotpop.com. Send it to me. We will forward or get all those questions put together. We want to sit there and answer anything that you have. And then again, we're going to try, for those that are going to be at NADA this year, we're going to try to get old Stacy to come spend some time in our hot seat, spend some time with our existing dealer partners as they come visit us at the booth with some of the new improvements and enhancements we have coming out. Booth 1219 NADA 2025 in New Orleans. Come see us. But more importantly, thank you, everybody, on behalf of John Anderson, on behalf of Ronaldo Leonard, and on behalf of everybody at the Lotpop family. We thank you guys for tuning in. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to continuing help taking this suck out of the automotive industry. Thank you, guys. See y'all.
Much success.
Y'all take care.